Hey everyone, I'm Kevin Dubois with My Shop Assist. In this video, I'm going to go over production and manufacturing products within a shop. Our system has been built around working on cars traditionally, and over the last couple of years, we've been adding more and more features so we can handle actual manufacturing. And most performance shops kind of dabble in both, right? So you work on cars and you might make some products for those cars. And we want to have all that stuff in one system. And we are at that point where this system is fantastic. So we added inventory tracking kind of last year, and so quantity on hand, reorder points, and now we sync to vendors. So specifically Turn 14, McMaster cars on the way, Motor State Distributing is most of the way there. So you can connect and you have real-time inventory and pricing for that stuff. And that feeds into the assemblies. So when you manufacture products, you may be buying components or subcomponents from these people, and that is a piece of your assembly. So assemblies are typically considered a bill of materials, so a product that you might manufacture. And so I have one that we make here. So this is an oil filter housing that we make at my performance shop for Mitsubishi Evo 8s and 9s. So this is an all billet aluminum piece, lots of machining steps in here. And then there's subcomponents as well. So we have aluminum cap, there's a piston in here, there's a spring we get from the dealership, there's a gasket we get from the dealership, there's some plugs we get from McMaster car, and then some other parts we make that are like an HKS thermostat, and then some fittings from Vibrant. So there's a lot of parts for this involved in the actual full assembly, not just the machining step, but we can do all of it inside of MSA. All the tracking for all the subcomponents, all the tracking for all the labor steps, we can do all of it. And I'm gonna step you all through all that and we'll see how it's done. So to begin, when you make a product or when you're designing a product, you really need to track all the subcomponents. And so we do all that. And I have behind me kind of my example array of subcomponents involved in this. So first of all is the primary part, which is going to be the billet oil filter housing. So whether you outsource this manufacturing, whether someone else is doing the actual machining for you, or maybe you have your own CNC machines and you're doing it in-house, we can handle that. But this is a piece, a part. It can be an assembled part. It can be just a straight piece that you buy, but this is one example of a part. From there, we've got the other manufactured components, which is, it's going to be this cap and the piston for it, the spring which comes from the dealership. We have the oil filter housing gasket, an 1/8" NPT plug in case the car is for an Evo 8, we cap one of the ports for it. Some 3/8 BSPT plugs for some other ports that are optional. Two oil filter housing, these will go to an oil cooler, so they're adapters, O-ring to a -AN. And the HKS thermostat. So all of this is what I would consider an assembly. So all these pieces are going to be the bill of materials for it. So I'm going to step through one at a time on how we handle building the actual assembly in MSA first. So we got to add all the components. Once we have all the components, we're going to go over the steps, like the labor steps, and then we can put the assembly together. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we are in our shop parts list. So if you go into your shop parts, this is going to be where we have to add all our subcomponents into the system. So I went ahead and added some of this so I don't have to walk through every single one of them. So we have the 1/8" NPT plug and the 3/8 BSPT plug from McMaster. So these two parts are already in here. You can track inventory on this stuff. I definitely recommend it if you're doing assemblies because that's going to enable you to actually know when you need to reorder subcomponents. So in this case, I would go on, turn inventory tracking. I probably got like 6 of them over there. We'll make the reorder point 2 because we need 2 for each one of them. This is just an example. You can also put locations on here. So if it's bin 5, we can go ahead and track that as well. So it's going to add our inventory in here. And so now we have our starting point. The oil filter housing gasket, I get that from the dealership. So we can go ahead and edit the part on here. It comes from Don Herring. We have the pricing. That's already been added. This is the oil filter housing piston. So I added that in manually. I'm going to do that same thing for the cap. So let's go ahead and add a part. So I just named this stuff using my naming convention. So MSA, performance, manufacturing, oil, filter, cap. Maybe we build that in-house. The part number is MSA Performance Manufacturing Oil Filter Housing cap. And maybe we pay $25 for this thing. I don't remember off the top of my head, and we sell it for $50. And we want to track inventory on this guy, and we will go ahead and say that. And we will say we have, we'll just say we have one of these on hand right now. Okay. The vibrant adapters, this is actually connected through turn 14 directly. So if I edit this part, you'll see that it's going to check turn 14's quantity on hand. So I can see how many turn 14 has, what my price is through them, and what the retail price is. These are synced in real time to each other. So the same thing is going to happen with this HKS oil thermostat. So if I don't have this in my system, right? I want to add it. So all I have to do is go to vendor parts, make sure I select turn 14 as the source, and then just type in the part number. And hit enter. And I can see the part in here. And I can switch it over to exactly what it looks like as well. So this is the product that I have in my hand here. So I'm going to add it to my shop. This is a piece of our components. So here's our HKS oil cooler. Okay, so now we have the HKS oil cooler. We have the vibrant fittings, the gasket, and we'll add one more, the spring in here. So if we pull the spring part number, add a part. One thing I will say though is it is super important that you actually go through and put the part numbers and who you get it from on here. Because when you do that, it does make the reordering of these assemblies. You can do it in like 1 or 2 clicks and have all your resupply coming without having to do a lot of extra jumping through the hurdles and whatnot. So we can also say we get this through Don Herring, Mitsubishi. And we could track inventory if we wanted to. In this case, instead of manufacturing this housing in-house, I'm going to just say that we buy it from somebody. So I'm going to say it's outsourced, subcontracted, I guess white labeled oil filter housing. So we're going to say add part, put a part number, MSA oil filter housing, bare. And maybe we pay $150 for these guys, and the piece by itself is going to be, I don't know, what do we want to sell these things for? Well, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to do based off wholesale cost. And then we will track inventory on these things for sure. And you can do all the different colors. So you could do one red, blue. We have red, blue, green, purple, black, all the different colors. And we will track inventory. We'll just say we have 5 of these in stock. Okay. So now that we have the product, all the subcomponents, the end product is going to be in here now. We have the MSA oil filter housing black. This is going to be the end product. We have the sub steps. So let's go ahead and tie this all together with the add assembly. So I'm going to add assembly. We're going to select the final product first. This is going to be an oil filter housing assembled in black. Then we are going to have our assembly is going to be real quick. It's like 15 minutes to put one of these together, so 0.25 hours. And the assembly cost, this is going to be different for everybody, but we're looking for your loaded manufacturing cost. So what it costs per hour basically to be manufacturing stuff. It's not going to be the same as a technician's hourly rate for service work, because that's going to include like profit and whatnot like that. This is just assembling what it costs to manufacture things. So we'll just say it's between $70 and $90 for this case. And if you had any additional steps in here, like if we had to do the anodizing, we could add that in there. So anodizing step, you can put that on there. You could add the machining step if you wanted, if you're making this in-house, but we're going to skip that for now. Okay, so now we're going to add all our subcomponents. So obviously we have the core of it, which is the bare housing. We are going to have the manufactured piston. We are going to have the cap. We are going to have the spring. And we have one of all those. Next up, we're going to have the 3/8 BSPT plugs. And we need 2 of these to make one of these. We have the 1/8 NPT plug, the brass plug. We have one of those. We need the oil filter housing gasket. And then we're going to have the vibrant adapters. We need 2 of those. and the HKS thermostat. Okay, so these are all the subcomponents it takes to make this one final product. The customer buys just one product. They're not going to see all these little subcomponents that we take. But obviously in the bill of materials, we need to account for all the stuff that it takes to build one of these. So if I hit next, it's going to tell us our manufactured cost is $302. So that includes basically 15 minutes of labor per unit, and then all the wholesale cost of all the parts in here. And we can set the retail price to be whatever we want. So if you want 100% markup on this thing, $600 is roughly the what the retail price should be. And that's pretty good markup for a product like this. It maybe could go a little higher just because this product is very unique and we don't sell a lot of them. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. So if we save this assembly, it's going to create the MSA Performance Oil Filter Housing in black. And now this thing, if I click on it and edit it, you'll see the bill of materials included in it. So we have the whole process for building this. Now, the next step, obviously, is going to be syncing this to your Shopify store. So when we do this, it's going to put it on our Shopify store. So we're going to want to put it into categories. So I'm going to edit this guy, and I'm going to add some tags here. So we will add a tag, and we're going to put it in the category. We'll select we're going to put it in a tag, and we're going to do the engine parts. And then I'm going to also put in a tag for maybe the color. So we can select a category. And these are just the default ones, but you can pick whatever you want. So we're going to go black. And I'm also going to do for an Evo 8.9. So we're going to do one more tag. We're going to do the platform for the category, Evo 8.9 for the tag. Okay, so what this will do is this will filter it out on the Shopify store. So when you run these filters, it will match into them. So then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take a picture of this thing. So we're going to go in here and I'm going to add a photo for it and the picture of the oil filter housing. And we're going to sync this picture to the store. So it's going to sync it to our Shopify store. And I'm going to say, okay. Okay, so this product is now basically ready to go. And I want to just click this button right here, which is going to sync it to our Shopify store. So it's putting it on our Shopify store in the different categories with this product on here. So let's go to our Shopify store. First, this is what it would look like for the customer. Let me refresh it. And you can see our oil filter housing is now on the Shopify store with one click. If we click into this guy, if we had a description, it would all be in here. We just skipped all that. And then we can also go through and run our filters. So we put it in the engine category. And if I added the other filters to the actual store here, they would show up as well because it does have the platform and it has the color as well. Okay, so the next thing is like, what do we do when an order is received? So let's go in here and I'm going to actually create an order. Okay, so I'm going to create the order with Jimbo Jones here. And we're going to add the oil filter housing to the order. And we're going to just manually trigger this as paid to create the order. So we're going to go through and create it. This is the same thing as if you had actually paid for it on like a customer ordering it off the shopping cart. And so this order now will sync basically immediately into MSA. So if we go back to MSA and go to our jobs, the Jimbo Jones order is right here. So you can see it's got a little hammer. That means we have to assemble some stuff in there. So if we go into it and look at the job view, we've got the oil filter housing. So if I click on this guy and save it, it's going to mark us as need to build this product because we don't have any on the shelf, so we need to assemble it, and we say yes. And it's going to automatically flag any of the subcomponents that we need to order as marked as need to order. And so when these things get flagged like that, it's going to dump it on your order status page here. And so you can see at the bottom here, these parts also need to be ordered. So we can come through here, mark them as need to order and create a PO. And so it really is just like super simple to jump back and forth from a job and ordering the products you need to manufacture the job. And then this can be synced to QuickBooks for the accounting, but that's kind of the path that all this stuff takes. Okay, so now that we've got the order in My Shop Assist, you would actually go through the process of assembling this. So you would take your components and you would go through and you would add the piston, the spring, the cap, kind of put it all together, track your time if you need to. If you're manufacturing the whole entire thing from scratch, you can do that. Inside of MSA, we can track the time it takes to do it, so you know actually how long it takes to manufacture some of these. But basically, you just put it together, you box it, and inside of Shopify, you can just mark it as shipped if you're using a different shipping fulfillment, or I actually prefer the Shopify shipping fulfillment option because the shipping rates are actually pretty dang good, and it's very easy to do. And the other cool thing is if you do fulfill the order inside of Shopify, the tracking information does move into MSA as well. So that's building the assembly. So you'll go through the motions of actually building the product, track your time on it, and ship it. And all this stuff can be handled inside of MSA with actually doing the labor part of it. So that's the round trip, kind of building an assembly, using all the components, tracking inventory on it. We do have some other trick things, such as like printing off the bill of materials from the assembly. So if I'm in a job and go to the print section, you'll see a bill of materials. And then every one of the parts, you can print off a QR code. And you can come in here, and if you're tracking or if you're not tracking inventory on a part, but you buy them in bulk or whatever, leave the QR codes inside the bin. And when you are ready to pull parts, if you're low on it, just scan the QR code, and you can literally just mark it as need to order from your phone. The phone app works with the QR codes really, really well. It's very easy to order components when they're getting low. So the whole thing is tied together really well. It's very easy to use. So that's the process. I have specific videos on doing all the parts ordering and procurement. I have a video for doing all the QR codes. So if you have any questions on how that works with the assemblies, the end products, the component level, the jobs, all that sort of stuff can be tagged with QR codes, and you can have followers basically with the products as you move them through your assembly line. And then QuickBooks integration, Turn 14 integration, I have videos for those specific things as well. So yeah, just check out the videos, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.